Good afternoon, friends. So today we are going to talk about something that is brand new, and those are called exponents. So the word exponents basically means repeated multiplication. So for let's look at the first one. For example, 5 5 to the second power or 5 squared. When we see the small number 2, that's called the power. Um and the 5 is the base. We know to multiply the base 2 times. And what that will look like is it is not this, and it's not this, although that would be a really good guess. What I want you to do is this: 5 times 5, and which is, as we all know, 25. Now, that is how we would evaluate this this expression. We took the base number, which is 5, and we raised it to the second power by multiplying it by itself, so that we have 2 5s there. Okay. Now let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 has a few steps in it. First, they want you to raise 3 to the second power, or do 3 squared, which will look like this. And then they want you to do the same thing for 7. So I will write that below this one. And then I'm going to put some equal signs. And we know 3 times 3 is 9. And then we know 7 times 7 is 49. And then they want us to take the 9 and the 49, and they want us to add them together. And so we know 9 plus 9 is 18. We carry our 1. 4 plus 0 is 4. Plus 1 is going to give me 5. And so the answer is going to be 58. And so the answer will be 58, friends. Now, when I do this, now let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 is asking you to raise 4 to the second power, or 4 times 4. And then it's asking you to raise 3 to the third power. So that means we want to do 3 times 3 times 3. Now, when you are doing the multiplication, you can write it out, and you can use a calculator to find the answer. or you can use the multiplication chart that I've provided you in the Google Classroom. But if you try to solve this mentally, I want you to remember, first we have to do 3 times 3, and that'll be 9. And then we take our 9 and we multiply that by this 3, and that will give us 27, and this will give us 16. So that is step 1 of our problem. We know that this is 16 and this is 27, but then they want us to take those two numbers and multiply them together. And so then for your second step, friends, just like we did with this problem, I am going to take my 27 and I'm going to multiply it by 16. And we know 7 times 6 is 42. And then we're going to carry our 4. And I'm going to shut off my camera, friends, for one quick second, just so that we have a little bit more space. And then we know that 6 times 2 is 12, plus 4 is going to give us 16. I'm going to erase our plus 4, and then so that we don't get confused. And then we need to do 1 times 7, which will be 7. And then I need to do 1 times 2, and that will be 2. And then we add. 2 plus nothing is going to be 2. 7 plus 6 is going to be 13. And then we carry our 1. And then for 2 plus 1 is 3, plus another 1 is going to be 4. And so the final answer for number 3 will be 432. All right. So I am going to erase this. And then I am going to scroll down, friends. And I'm going to scroll down and we're going to do one more. We are going to do number 12 together. Okay? So for number 12, what we have to do first is we have to do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 5, 1, 2, 3. You know what, friends? I'm going to extend it out here. All right. And so for this would be our problem. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And so how we would solve this is 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is going to be 32. And then 32 times 2 is going to be 64. So for the 2 to the 6th power is going to equal 64. And then if you remember from problem 3, we did 3 to the 3rd problem, and we said that was 27. And now, instead of adding or multiplying our two numbers for our second step, we will be subtracting them. So our subtraction problem is going to be 64 minus 27. And since we can't take away 4 from 7, we have to borrow. So this will become 5, and this will become 14. 14 take away 7 is 7. 5 take away 2 is 3. And so the final answer will be 37. So when you are doing these problems, friends, I would suggest that you have a calculator handy. Have one that you can put exponents into. And if you are unable to do that, make sure that you write out the repeated multiplication and that you have the base number written out the correct number of times. The base is the big number, and the smaller number is what we call the power or the exponent. So make sure that you have the base written out the correct number of times and that you are doing the correct multiplication. I would not suggest using the multiplication chart that is in the Google Classroom. I would suggest using a calculator if at all possible. All right. So for this is just a quick tutorial on how to solve some of these problems. If you have any questions, please send me an email and let me know. Also be on the lookout for more videos from me on how to solve these problems. Okay, friends, bye.